I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk about domains because we see domains in Jujutsu Kaisen. And if you remember the aspect where I believe Gojo is telling Itadori that the domain that takes over is the one that is more powerful. So like when they're in the other cursed spirits domain. And I also want to let you know too that this is not like your typical anime video. So if like you're looking for something around fights or something that's just going to entertain you for a couple of minutes, then you can click off the video right now. And this is more for people such as yourself that are actually wanting to improve and understand like actual real life implementations to improve yourself, make more money, have better relationships, communicate a little bit better or a lot better. And if that's something that you're interested in, then you can check out some other videos on the channel after listening to this. So like the domains in Jujutsu Kaisen are whoever has the stronger domain is going to be the one that overcomes the other person's domain. And I want to define what a domain is for you in the human dictionary called the Oxford language, or like in Merriam-Webster's, like from Google. So an area or territory owned or controlled by a ruler or government. So basically, a domain is a specific area and or space that is controlled by, like I said, a ruler or government, or in the case of Jujutsu Kaisen, an individual. And this is the part that I want to relay is like you have your own domain. You have your own set of skills. You have your own area. You have your own specific spot that works best for you. Like what is the domain that you fluctuate in? What is the domain that you know better than anybody else? Like let's say you're in the same room with somebody else. This is me just talking out loud and thinking out loud because as a couple of you may already know this, like this is how I express my thoughts and are able to formulate different clear ideas. So this channel a lot of the times, and I'm going to get back to the domains here in a second, I just need to give this a little bit of a background for you. So like a lot of the times my videos are more for me just kind of like get words out, and if they inspire somebody, cool. If not, like cool. I just figure I'm going to share this anyways, and it's an analogy that helps me resonate with myself to help me understand these different ways of thinking and these different ways of being, because like my mind 99% of the time it's always running, but it's like I'm not cognizant of the words that I'm saying because I'm just like listening and observing the things that are needing to be said in that said moment, whenever that may be. And I can always do like live coaching and things like this as well too, or you can just go down into the description and click on that as well too if that is something you're interested in learning a little bit more about. So like with the domain, is like I have a special domain in like communication. So like there can be another person that they could try to be pushing back on me or something like that. And I could be like, nah, like I know how to like overcome this quip, or I know how to like respond to this answer. I know how to push back or ask a question, or like when to speak versus when not to speak, when to listen, when to not like when to like speak. I know I said a lot of those things in the same sense and in the same way. It's just I've come to realize that like having a certain set domain, a certain set rule is the best place for you to be. And if say there's already a domain or there's already something in existence by the government, by the ruler, by somebody else, you can be like Gojo. Wow. I'm sorry, you guys. Like this is, I'm just like, I know that this is something I want to talk about, and for some odd reason, the ideas are just like, they're coming through in the ways that they need to come through. Cause like, it's just interesting to say the least with how this whole thing works. But it's just like, I try to remember these names in the best ways that I can. I know sometimes that's not the ways that you're hoping to have them remembered in. I just want to be able to still relay the idea to you in some way, shape, or form. So it's a little bit tough for me from time to time when I have to like remember these names, because like when I watch the show or the series or whatever it may be, I don't necessarily like, I remember the names, but I also don't remember the names. I just remember like the characters and the scenes and how it made me feel. So that's kind of what I'm trying to relay. Not even trying, it's what I'm relaying to you in this said moment. Because like when you saw the other cursed user, Gojo. I don't know why I second guessed myself on that. But when you saw Gojo use his domain, Ultimate like Void, his domain ended up taking over the other cursed domain when he's like, oh, this is my trump card. Like I'm going to win because I got them in my domain. He's going to burn. Like I'm going to win this and I'm going to be the one that is victorious. And yet Gojo, he's like, I know what happens here. Like I already know that I'm going to win. I already have this understanding. And this is what I've come to realize from like me going on hikes or bike rides or walks or like lifting the gym. Like I already know in my heart that I can do this, that I'm going to do this. Like I might not always make it like to the same amount, but then I'll train harder to go do it. Like a prime example. And this is where I say like I kind of get off topic of like the anime stuff, because it's only one subset part of my life, and I just figure like I'd rather be well-rounded. And I know a lot of people talk about like niching down, and a niche is just like an anime type of concept, and we can go into that on a different video as well. But like I like just being able to share my ideas in the ways that like come out and the ways that they need to, because I figure that's what's going to resonate best with you and the way that it needs to resonate with you. And it's what I do with my friends, it's what I do with other people that are like my clients, it's what I do like when I'm selling, it's what I do all the time, is I figure out what works best for you. And I tailor that approach and that conversation to the ways that need to have them be done, if that makes, I know that makes sense. So it's just like, I have this domain, I have this expansion, I have this way of being that maybe very few people do have. I'm actually, bro, there's something here. There is something here. And maybe I have to still give it another day or two before I can do this, but like I know that there's something with the domain, bro. Like there's something with the domain. There's something with being able to take over somebody else's domain, being able to step on their land, being able to overcome whatever it is that you're needing to overcome. Just because somebody else had done it before you doesn't mean that you can't do it again. Doesn't mean that you can't come on to their turf because you've been training the other person that is already, say, in existence and has you in their domain. They don't know your strength. They don't know your skills. So that then as soon as you unlock that skill, as soon as you unlock that trait, as soon as you unlock that characteristic, then all of a sudden you're able to expand your domain and overtake their domain, and you're able to defeat the enemy that stands within your way, which is something that I myself have been able to do many a times. Like I was never in the sales domain, and yet as soon as I got into the sales domain, I was able to overcome every single obstacle that was in my way by reviewing, by analyzing, by questioning, by asking, by doing lots of different things, just kind of like I ask you to book a call down below so that I can start to coach you. Like there's these small subtle tactics that I have within my own domain that help me overcome your said domain and your way of thinking, because like I'm not here to change you. I'm more here to help you identify your shortcomings, help you identify what you need help out with, help you identify like how my domain can help you out. Because like if you think about it, Itadori's and Sukuna's and Gojo's and like all these other domains, like they're there to help the other person. Like you might not think it that way, like, so just bear with me for a second. If you're still here watching this video, which I know that if you are listening to this, this is meant for you because that's just how it works. And if it's one person, awesome. And I know that it's one person, which is fantastic because you're listening to this right now. Each and every single one of their domains has their own unique characteristic and trait to it, because as soon as you're in that, say, imminent domain, or you're in that other person's domain and you see like, oh, okay, this is what it looks like, and okay, like, well, now I'm going to show my domain, and then like you overtake their domain, and then the person that loses has two ways to go about that. They can either like crumble and be like afraid or like not want to do it anymore, or they can expand into something bigger and they can start to go into new places. They can go into new areas. They can go into different places that they didn't originally have gone in. And I know I said places twice, you still get the point. And this is what I'm trying to relay, is like, just because there's a pre-existing domain already around you doesn't mean that you don't have the strength to do whatever domain that you want to expand and you want to share. Because one domain and the other domain, they can both be competing head to head with one another, yet whoever's is stronger, whoever has more perseverance, whoever has more determination, whoever has more will, whoever has more consistency, whoever has more willingness to go that extra mile, to go that extra step, to help you out in the best ways that they possibly can, to serve you in a better way, is going to be the one that wins at the end of the day. And most of the time, a lot of people, when they do start their domains, when they do go into this place of being, they're expected and they just believe that they're going to win right off the bat, because it's like, oh, my domain's so powerful. But it's just like, they don't know where you're coming from. They don't know your skill set. They don't know your background. They don't know who you are, unless there's somebody that comes in, it's like, oh yeah, you don't want to get on his bad side, or you don't want to fight against him. Like if you do, you're going to win, which is where it's like, sorry, you're going to lose kind of thing. I'm going to win. You're going to win. We're both going to win. But like it's a trip, you guys. It's a trip, because if you think about it, being strong, being independent, being all-powerful can be a very lonely experience. It's why a lot of people don't go and have this experience, is because they have to be, one, very strong-willed. They have to be able to overcome any sort of objection. They have to realize that everything's happening everywhere all at once in this exact same moment in time, and it's just a matter about tapping into the right places and the right frequencies. You can kind of think about it in like, this way, shape, or form if you want to. So like every single day, every single minute, every single second, somebody is posting something on YouTube or they're posting something on TV. Every single channel, every single video, every single place is all happening simultaneously at the exact same moment. Yet one person's domain is able to overtake your said domain and take your attention away from the thing that you're needing to take your attention away from. When in actuality, all you have to do is focus all of your attention onto that said thing that you need to focus on, so that then you can start to expand your domain into your own control, and other people can come into your domain and they can start to learn from you. And then once they learn from you, then they can go off and they can start their own domain. Once they start their own domain, then that person, such as yourself, then you could teach all the other people, you inspire all the other people, you do the thing that you do best. Then those people can go off and do that same thing, and over and over and over and over and infinitum. And once that's done, then it's like, if you ever want to come back into, say, my domain or go back into somebody else's domain, you have every right to do so. And just because you're in somebody else's domain doesn't mean you're going to lose. It means you're actually going to learn something. You're going to win in some way, shape, or form. You're going to gain something from being in that domain, being in that space, being in that parcel of land, being in that frequency, being in that area is going to be the thing that helps you in the ways that it needs to help you in, regardless of what that is. You might not necessarily be aware of it right now. I wasn't aware of it when I first started. I didn't understand what a domain was. I didn't understand how certain people's domains could overtake my other domain. And it's why your attention is so powerful, and why I share these things is because, like, I don't want you to have to be controlled by other people's attention. Like, yes, I'm trying to get your attention right now so that then you can go off and be free and do the things that you want to do. Because a lot of times, everybody, all they're going to be doing is they're just going to be trying to sell you a solution on this said thing that you are already good at. And when I say that this in these other videos that I've talked about, where like I do the coaching and the consulting and like I help you overcome your said problems, a lot of the people that I work with, every person that I've ever worked with, they're done within 6 weeks, and then they never need me again. They never talk to me again, because I gave them the service that they needed to have in the best way that they could have it, so that then they can move on with their life, so that then they can unlock the next key. And whatever you do with the key, that's completely up to your discretion. But like, I had a dream last night where like I was in this like little house type of thing, and it was like a little domain. It was a house, and there's like yogas, and there's like dead bodies and skeletons, and there's all this crazy stuff like all around me. And I was like, okay, this is kind of trippy. I don't want to be here. But then like there's a secret door that I could go in, and when I went into the secret door, it was a very nice place, but it was still kind of a little weird. I was like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. Somebody else is here right now. I'm not going to be in this place. And as I was leaving the house, I found a little key on the ground. I was like, interesting. Okay, here's the key. So like I have the key, and I'm here to give you the key to open the door to whatever endeavor that it is that you want to go into. Because basically all I am, if you have listened to a couple of other videos where I was talking about like human design and like this different way of being and this different way of experiencing the world, it is a very different perspective, because like all I am and all I will be is a direct mirror and reflection to you to give you and let you hear the things that you yourself don't necessarily want to hear but are needing to hear them. And a lot of the times you don't want to hear certain things, so that's why I say like these are the things that you need to hear so that you can move on to the next level, if that is something that you do desire to do. If you don't and you want to keep staying and living the life that you are, then by all means. But if you want to work with me for 6 weeks, and that's all it is it's quite literally 6 weeks, and I'll deliver you results. You have like unfettered access to me. Obviously I respond back when I have the moments to respond back to you in, but like we meet once a week, we have these conversations, we do these things, we identify the problem, the blockage that you have within yourself, and as we identify those small little bits and pieces, you start to become free. You start to open up your different avenues. You can do it on your own, but it's very hard. Like you can look in the mirror every single day and you don't see much change, yet then you go back home or something like that, and your parents or your friends are like, wow, you've really changed. You got a beard. Oh, you put on some weight. Oh, hey, you got some real muscles. You look really strong. Oh, you grew your hair out. Oh, you have this other like intellectual thing that you never really had that I never actually noticed until now. And it's like, yeah, because I changed, but you don't get to see that. You don't get to see that change in your day-to-day life. And that's why having the ability to step into somebody else's domain that is a little bit more experienced than yourself, it doesn't have to be incredibly more experienced than yourself, just a little bit more experienced than yourself to give you the raw, hard truth that you're looking for is going to be the best way that you're able to level up and start to become a stronger hero if that is what you want to do.